Hey, this is the track tutorial for Phillip Island. It's for the Skip Barber Race Series 2020 Season 1 Week 6. Uh, my name's James Hauser. You can visit my site at www.2labsracing.com. That's the number 2 labs racing, like the dogs labs racing.com. I have articles up there for iRacing and for real life racing as well. A little bit of information in there. I got some videos. I got links to Discord chat and for Twitch as well. All right, let's move on to the track conditions. Track conditions are set to 65 degrees Fahrenheit for the air temperature, which is 18 Celsius. Track temp is 106 Fahrenheit and 41 degrees Celsius. 35% track usage. This I did 3.1 gallons as the first the load up, and I think this is the fastest lap on that, right towards the end or the last lap in that stint. And let's go ahead and watch this go through. So as you're coming out of the last turn, you're going to be moving just gently over to the far left-hand curb. This is a very fast turn coming up. Turn 1 is due-hand corner. It's 5th gear. You're going to, you're going to be moving through this corner pretty dang fast. The turn-in point is, a little bit hard to figure out. You'll see as you come down here. I'm turning in, started turning in about right here. It's just before you see the tire wall on the far left-hand side. I am full throttle through here. I maintain full throttle. As you see, I'm getting off the throttle about 50%, and then right back on it up to 75 or so, and then all the way as I exit. Probably should have stayed out a little bit further to the left. I came back a little bit sooner than I expected, but you're good if you can get to this point in the track, or even if you're a little bit further to the left, it's fine. That sets you up for Southern Loop, which is turn 2. Turn in starts here from the left mid-track, and braking as you turn in. And shortly after I turn in, I'm downshifting into 4th gear before the apex. The apex is going to be right before this corner worker station. And you want to be on top of that curb whenever you apex. All braking should be done as you reach the curb. And as soon as reach the apex, and as soon as you're on that apex, you're going to be getting back on the gas, which is going to push you towards the center of the track. And that's where I do a downshift to 3rd, right about at that time, to get a little bit of rotation, go modulate the throttle, and then get me into the 2nd apex. So we'll go ahead and play that forward. So full throttle, I'm coming off, braking, getting back on throttle, and did my downshift. Modulating the throttle just a little bit before that, and I come out nice and straight, upshift. Coming now into Stoner Corner, and turning in from the center of the track or wherever you're at. You can just slowly come over to the left. You're going to have upshift. There's no downshift on this. This is a flat out corner. I miss what I normally do as the apex here. It's not a big difference time wise, but I normally get on that curb as I go over. Might be good to stay out a little bit if in a race, less chance of someone going to the right hand side, because I think there's a lot of passing going into this in a practice race that was done last night. A lot of guys were going to the right and just trying to outbrake or just not dive bomb, but they got up side by side with the car in front of them, where if you came out a little bit further to the right on this corner, you might just block that from them. Here you go, you turn in, you can see I'm a little bit off of there. I do need to get to the left because I want to make this next turn, which is Honda Corner. I want to make this as wide as possible, so I'm going to be right on the rumble strips. My initial braking is going to take place right before the 100. I think I do it a little, right here. I'm just started braking right before the 100. I'm not off the gas yet. I broke a little bit late on this one. Makes it a little bit hairy, just because you are braking on the rumble strips or the painted surface on the left. So as you come down, you will slow down fairly straight. Then I'm doing the turn in right before this sandbox, so it's right in there is where my turn in starts. Same time you're doing your downshift throughout here, so you're going to be downshifting all the way to first. As you kind of reach that apex. Again, I think I use that downshift to give me a little bit of rotation in this corner. Um, Apex is mid to late. You should be back on the throttle before mid corner, and track out is all the way to the left hand side, and then includes as you're tracking out an upshift into second. So let's watch that. So boom, turning in right in here, just before the sand on the left. Pretty heavy brakes, little trail braking, getting full throttle again, coming out, and then I'm going to shoot right for the right hand side of that curb over there. This is kind of my target, is that point right here. I'm upshifting as we come through here. I'm going to do very little braking kind of through this corner. I kind of late apex this, go a little bit wider. A lot of the guys are going very tight in this corner. I don't know which is going to be faster for the week. It's early in the week, and people will, I'll get better at the track as everyone else will, and there'll be, a little bit slightly different lines through here. But essentially what I'm doing here is I'm staying far to the right. I'm going to do the turn in with a little bit of trail braking, very light on it. Then I use a downshift to second, which is going to give me a little bit of rotation right about in this middle section here, and then I'm getting back on the gas. So we'll watch that turn in. Downshift right there, get that rotation back on full throttle, track out all the way to that curb right there. Don't get too much of that sand. You will get a 1x if you get too much sand off of there. From here, you're doing an upshift. You're going to aim towards the left, which is right there. This is I think turn 7. It doesn't have a name on it. I'm going to hit or get close to the curb on the left. Don't touch it. I seem to get a little bit of a slowdown if I touch it. Also upsets the car a little bit. So continue down here, aiming mid track, and then I'm aiming at the right hand curb for 8. I was taking this a little bit wider. You make up time by not going too wide here, so don't go too wide. Just be careful that when you turn in, you don't scrub too much speed, and you stay right and recover to the far right side. We'll see this as we come through on this turn. So I'm going over the curb, coming down, then I'm moving. I'm trying to get to the right again, because my next turn in is right before that blue building on the left from the far right side. I'm in 4th gear right now. I will be shifting up to 5th gear. Get up to 5th right here. As I start this turn in, I'm aiming right up into this area for my apex. That's where I'm looking to go. I'm staying in 5th gear. As I approach that apex, I will be doing a downshift. I don't know if I actually touch the brakes. I don't think I touch the brakes at all on here. It's just a downshift. I stay on the gas not to upset the car too much, not fully, but I modulate the throttle again, trying to stay on the left hand curb. I push a little wide on this. I'm able to recover without any super huge effect on it. So it's a decent turn on here. I'm still getting faster on it, but you'll see as I come here, I'm going to hit that curb just a little bit where the rumbles are. Doing my downshift right now, which is going to help me stay to the left, gives me a little bit of rotation. 30% throttle. Then I'll modulate a little bit back to full throttle, pushes out to the right. I need to get back over here now, so that's why I still got that turn in there. Probably, like I said, lost a little bit of time for scrubbing that off, but I need to get back here because I need to start braking right before that 50 marker in a straight line down the hill. And then I'm going to be downshifting all the way into first and doing a turn in for turn 10, which is a pretty tricky turn to get into and get right. So we'll continue down here. All right, I'm getting on the brakes right there, as you can see. Continue on the brakes. I start getting that rotation. I'm going to move back a little bit so you can see. You can't really see turn in because I do get the back end kind of light in the car. Braking down here, you will as well, being downhill and everything. But your turn in is going to be right in here. And I should have been a little bit further to the left, right on that curb for this, but because of the I tracked out too far in the previous corner. I didn't get back all the way over here. I did recover pretty well, at least to give me a great lap time on this one. At least I think so, this early in the week. Come down here. You can see I'm trail braking just a little bit. I am getting ready to do a downshift in here, which will give me a little bit more rotation from the car. And then I still maintain that little bit of throttle that I have, and I start going full throttle as I come through there. When you track out here, you want to stay about here. You can go a little bit further to the left. I probably could have picked up a slight amount of time. Problem is, you get too close in here when you start making this left turn right here. You end up having a little bit of problems with just scrubbing too much speed. So, staying mid-track or slight left of mid-track is good in here. Um, on the turn in here, my turn in starts right just past the right curb where it ends. So you see the blue curb ends right there, and that's where I start my turn in already. I'm going to get my left tires right down there to the curb, but don't touch the curb, it will push you out. Track all the way out to the right, and you'll see on this one, it's full throttle all the way through here. You're shifting through. My turn in for this last turn is about even with this. I struggle with this one a little bit. Sometimes it's really easy to make it. Sometimes it feels like I'm scrubbing too much speed as I track out. So I'll have to definitely work on this throughout the week. But here's where my turn is in this one right here. You'll see I start that turn in. There's a turn anyways, but I started giving it a little bit more input about at that turn in. Come down, you don't want to touch that curb. I found that if I get way up on the curb, I'm kind of okay. It upsets the car a little bit, but if you just get a little bit of that curb, it really wants to kick you out. And getting on top of the curb, it's just not worth it. It can be okay, but it can slow you down a little bit. So you come around this corner, you're going to track out, you full throttle down here, then all the way down to set up another lap. So this was a 1:46.687, and a couple things as far as setup goes. I've been playing with this setup. It's still early in the week. I think I've got about I don't know, 60 laps total here, maybe 50 laps total with a dry run that we did last night that I thought was a practice that turned into a race. My car setup is I think ARB is at 8. My SPO is not at the lowest setting, one up from the lowest setting. My brake bias is at 53. I've been playing with that from 52 and 53. Not sure where I'm going to end up with that at the end of the week. Tire pressure is at the lowest it will go. And then fuel, like I said, this lap was towards the end of a stint with 3.1 gallons of fuel. So I was just about empty or out of gas here, just getting ready to run out of gas. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and we'll replay this. I'll play it probably twice, once with this heads-up screen so you can see that, once with all the HUD display off, so it makes it a little bit easier to see everything. So we'll go through and play this. Here you go. All right, we'll play it without the overlay. And one of the things I had some comments on is everyone told me the wheels beat me up. Um, I'm moving that wheel around a lot because either the it's the grip and to be able to make sure the rear end's not sliding out, but it's also kind of the feeling of if I think I'm scrubbing speed, I try to straighten it up a little bit. So that's kind of what it is me just kind of feeling that little bit of force feedback, which feels like my front tires are probably sliding a little bit and trying to straighten it up a little bit. So here we go. We're gonna go full screen and do that lap again. All right, that takes us to the end of that lap. If you're interested in the sim rig or anything, I do have actually the old sim rig from Sim Racing Garage. Their old test mule. I got that from uh, Barry a couple years ago and done my own upgrades. I also run an OSW wheel from Joe Sullivan, which is awesome wheel and excellent support from him. But yeah, check out the website www.twolabsracing.com if you want to check out and see what that sim has. I got some evolution of that sim as well in one of the articles that I put together if you want to read that. Thanks for visiting. Good luck this week.